Hey, it's me, AMC me, or Ashley, and I'm back with some more chapters of Marry My Husband, chapters 36 and 37. I made sure to get my dailies in at the beginning of the week, but the rest of the videos, it'll be day by day. But I hope you guys enjoyed the last video. When we last left off, Suman had done her survey at the restaurant and let somebody eat something with peanuts in it when they asked her if it did. And she said, no. Well, she didn't say no. She just waved them away because she was playing the phone on her game. Minwon got caught by Ji-hyuk at the club making out with some random chick, and he went to Ji-won and asked her why she was with, if she was going to marry him, if she loved him. Ji-hyuk asked Ji-won if she loved Minwon, and she was like thrown off, and he admitted he liked her. We found out that Hugh Yeon and Ji-hyuk do have a relationship, but it's not girlfriend, boyfriend like Ji-won thought. Joran's husband is getting his ass handed to him by Joran's parents, as they should, and as he should, because what do you think you're doing? Are you like a teenager or whatever? You don't think you have to work? You don't think you have to keep your house up? You don't think you have to watch your child? Get over yourself. But that's a quick recap of the last 5 chapters. I probably missed some stuff, but those were like the bigger highlights. So we are on chapter 36, and it's throw your enemy in the lake and they'll become a corpse. We can already assume who's going to get thrown in they're going to try to throw in the lake, I think. The business trip to the States was an endless procession of exhausting meetings. Ji-hyuk managed to take a short break and sat at a cafe terrace with a cup of coffee and a sandwich. A diverse array of people from all different backgrounds busily bustled past him. He needed to return to Korea after quickly finishing up work, but he was drained. He pulled out a business card from his wallet and started closing it, and stared closely at it. UNK Food Marketing Division 1 Section Chief Ji-won Kang. Since he didn't have a single picture of her, this was the only piece of her that was given to him. Oh my gosh. He is smitten. Okay. After that night, Ji-hyuk couldn't contact her. Obviously, she didn't contact him either. The brief accounts he heard from Hugh Yeon were like rain in the middle of a drought. Excuse me? Someone said in Korean, breaking Ji-hyuk out of his revelry. It was a woman. He turned around in the direction of the voice. She was young, around the same age as Hugh Yeon, or perhaps a couple years younger. She wore comfortable jeans and a white t-shirt with a bag as large as a suitcase hoisted onto her shoulders. It is you, Ji-hyuk, Oppa! I thought I was seeing things, she beamed. It's been so long. I can't believe I ran into you here. The woman set her coffee down and sat across from him. What's with that face? People will think I'm threatening you with a knife or something. What brings you to the U.S.? Sightseeing? Business? Business, Ji-hyuk uttered stiffly. It's so hot when you talk like that. I mean, you're always hot, she said slyly. Hurry along if you're done saying hi. I'm busy. That's not fair. Are you really going to act like that way towards someone you haven't seen in a few years? Ji-hyuk was growing more and more irritated. Let's talk about what Let's talk about what we're doing these days. How's Mr. Yu doing? What about Hugh Yeon? She asked, pushing further. Ji-hyuk's eyebrows furrowed. Why the hell would you bring up Hugh Yeon? That's a bad word, Opa. You still haven't fixed your rough speaking habits, I see. The woman waved her hand in the air like he was saying something funny and giggled. We're friends. There's nothing wrong with me asking about how my friend is doing. Shut up. Ji Hyuk's voice was icy. Are you still mad at me about that? The woman asked disbelievingly, her voice raised. Ji Hyuk couldn't believe that he was hearing what he was hearing. You're not even worth getting mad at. Stop. It was a small incident that happened over 10 years ago, she said nonchalantly. My little sister almost died because of that small incident. Little sister, the woman shouted. Why is she your little sister? You don't even know. You're a O. Oh, shit, that's her? A couple that had been glancing at them from earlier due to the tense atmosphere whispered among themselves. Ji Hyuk stood up to leave. If you want to live a long life, shut your mouth. That insolent mouth of yours is going to get you in trouble someday. Oppa! Ji Hyuk disappeared into the throng of people without looking back. The woman, Yura O, watched him leave and stood up with a sniff. There is something white underneath the table. Ji Hyuk had probably dropped it. Earlier, it read, no, fuck. Marketing Division 1, Ji Won Kang. Yura put it inside her wallet. Aw, shit. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. This bitch. Enter this bitch. Okay. Got it. Jiwon didn't have any plans to get married or to date. She just didn't want to think about men in general, and her high school crush was no exception. Whether it was Eunho or Ji-hyuk, she didn't want to become involved. That place is always too crowded, isn't it? Jiwon asked Hugh Yeon without missing a beat. They had to walk past Blue Cafe if they wanted to go to another coffee shop. Yeah, it'll be quieter if we walk just a little more. Hugh Yeon, having learned what the apex of capitalism, or being super rich, was really like from Ji Hyuk, also walked at a quick pace. The two approached Blue Cafe's open doors, the scent of coffee and freshly baked bread wafting out and tickling their noses. Muffin, 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 that horribly delicious muffin. Hugh Yeon tightly shut her eyes and tried to defeat her muffin withdrawal symptoms. Was it just a coincidence that Eunho happened to come out of the store at that moment? I don't think it is. I think he was waiting in the wings. Jiwon, Miss Yu. He was holding a plate of freshly baked tarts. Yu Yeon stepped slowly, her fluttering eyes fixed on the tarts in Eunho's hands. Their golden shine and sweet yet savory scent made her heart beat faster. Before she knew it, she was sitting inside Blue Cafe with Jiwon, devouring the tart. Is it that good? Jiwon asked. What would happen if someone took the tart from Hugh Yeon right now? Jiwon shook away the useless thought and pushed her plate in front of Hugh Yeon. Hugh Yeon gulped. It's okay. You have it. Jiwon shook her head. I must have eaten too much at lunch. I think I'm going to be sick if I eat more. Should I get you something for indigestion? Hugh Yeon offered. No, I'll be fine if I rest a bit. So weird. There were still seats left, Hugh Yeon remarked, sticking her fork into Jiwon's tart. Jiwon watched Hugh Yeon like a proud mother hen as she spoke to Eunho. There's always a table for you. Come any time, he said warmly. The reserved table sign in the pocket of his apron was a secret Eunho would take to the grave. Okay. That's why there's always a seat. I should get back to work, he said. Let me know when you're leaving before you go, okay? Okay, don't worry about us. Go on. Jiwon had just given it to her, but the last piece of the tart was already disappearing into Hugh Yeon's mouth. It was a mystery how Hugh Yeon kept her slim figure. It's so good. This is the best tart I've ever eaten, Hugh Yeon said. She was almost crying from emotion as she sipped her coffee. When the cold and bitter brew reached her brain, it was as her thought conscience had just woken up too. My lifesaver? Hmm? About Mr. Yu. Yu Yeon spoke as casually as possible so as not to make Jiwon uncomfortable. I heard you've known each other since you were young, right? Yu Yeon's shoulders felt lighter thanks to how cool Jiwon was being about it. Yes, it's a secret from the company. People might say he gives me special treatment, but as you already know, that idiot, Mr. Yu, wouldn't even do that for his own sister. I know, I won't tell anyone, so don't worry about it, Jiwon replied lightly. Hugh Yeon felt more at ease and wondered how to make Ji Hyuk seem appealing. Just then her phone rang. When she checked the caller, it was an international call from the United States. Hugh Yeon naturally thought it must be Ji Hyuk. Hello? Hugh Yeon! Ew. It wasn't Ji Hyuk's low voice, but the high pitch of a woman. Who's this? Who else? It's me, Yura Oh. Oh my gosh, Yura, I can't believe it's really you. We haven't talked in forever. Hugh Yeon responded in a matching high pitch, and Ji-won glanced inquisitively at her. Contrary to her bright and friendly tone, Hugh Yeon's face looked stiff, like someone had just stolen a tart from her. Right. Oh my gosh, I met Ji-hyuk Oppa in the States, Yura continued. You did? He's on a business trip. Wow, this is such a coincidence. But he dropped something at the cafe. I wanted to give it to him, so I called you since I don't have a way to contact him. What did he drop? A business card. Who's Jiwon Kang? He was holding the card and looking at it super fondly. Is she his girlfriend? Hugh Yeon's eyes flashed. Even the way her mouth curved seemed dangerous. Why would you ask that, you mad woman? Hugh Yeon said, dropping any pretense of politeness. Ooh. I see you still have such an ill-bred speaking habit. Ugh, now I'm in a bad mood. Oh, you are? Why don't we hang up since we're both in a bad mood then? Hugh Yeon rammed the end call button and aggressively slurped down her iced coffee as if she was trying to cool herself down. What an idiot. I can't believe you left my lifesaver's business card lying around like that. Too bad I'm too far away to beat you up. Who is that? Jiwon asked. Hugh Yeon calmed herself down by looking at the face of her respected and cherished lifesaver. My friend from when I was young. Friend? Did you just fight with her then? I won't fight with her, Hugh Yeon smiled. She's totally bananas. You know you're not supposed to fight with people like that, right? Oh, okay. So they're telling us ahead of time before she has any interactions with anybody else. Girl is cuckoo delulu. Got it. Mr. Kim, what are you talking about? Joran shouted. Wow, she's yelling. Let me redo that. Mr. Kim, what are you talking about? Joran's shouting was as rare as Ji Hyuk smiling. However, the employees thought it was justified. What do you mean the project will be postponed for the foreseeable future? We have the samples in the cellars. All we have to do is obtain the ingredients. Are you talking back to me? What do you want me to do about the orders from the higher ups? Jung-uk spat as he pounded his desk. Joran felt so wrong that tears were beginning to form in her eyes. I put so much work into this. She was even receiving help from her parents so she could slave over the project, and now it had been postponed overnight. Postponed was just a nice way of putting it. Essentially, it was canceled. Are you really going to be like this, Mr. Kim? She said incredulously. Be like what? What did I do? My project was pushed back because of the project you're doing. You knew I already started my project. How could you? Hey, Miss Yang, you must not be getting the situation because you're old and have a kid. Jung-uk smirked with his thick lips. Let's say your project was actually pushed back because of my new project. If your project was better than mine would have been turned down and yours wouldn't have been swept aside. Your project sank because you started acting up when your lame little proposal was passed. How dare you gripe at me about it? Ooh, he got some balls on him since Ji Hyuk's not there. All right, bitch. Work is all about competence, okay? Repeat after me. Competence. That's old married women for you, Ji-hyuk grumbled to himself and treaded out of the office. I want to fucking wham! Punch him one good time. Juron stood still, staring blankly at the door. She spun around and headed for the break room. Everyone exchanged concerned looks as Jiwon followed her. Miss Yang? Jiwon started. Juron looked up from where she was, bent over the table. Her eyes were red. You put a lot of work into this. I'm so sorry. It was like Joran. It was so like Joran to be worried about Jiwon in this situation. Jiwon whipped up a cup of peppermint tea and handed it to Joran. Here, you said peppermint calms you down. Thanks. Joran forced a smile and set the cup back down after a small sip. I'm fine. You know, there's that saying, if someone harms you, just sit by the river and wait for your enemy's corpse to come floating down the river. I think I've heard that. I think I've heard of that. I can do it. I'll climb to a higher rank than Mr. Kim and laugh at him. There will always be more opportunities, right? It seemed like Joran was trying to convince herself. Jiwon looked at her sympathetically and then quietly spoke up. I wonder why your enemy's corpse comes down the river. They must have been punished by the heavens, Joran guessed. The only thing up there is the stratosphere. If your enemy's corpse comes down the river, it's probably because someone tossed them there. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Somebody killed their ass and dumped them in the river. Maybe that's the punishment, Jiwon thought to herself and stood up. I'll leave first because I have something to do. You should take a little break before coming back out, Jiwon said. The something she needed to do was take the materials she organized yesterday and go find Jong-uk. She didn't have to search hard. He was in a cloud of smoke in the cigarette area of the roof. Mr. Kim, Jiwon said, addressing him. Jong-uk looked Jiwon up and down with disinterest. What brings you by, Miss Kang? Here. Jong-uk confusedly accepted the thickest packet Jiwon held out to him. What is this? I was hoping this might be of help to your project, she explained. It was a present Jiwon had prepared for him while sacrificing her own sleep. The packet consisted of positive data for the halal product and translated news articles from other countries. You made this yourself? This is incredible. As he flipped through the pages, his expression turned into a trusting grin. You'll see when You'll see this when you check the foreign articles, but this halal business is going to make tides internationally. It's very likely other food production companies in our country will try to prepare something like this. We can put the nail in the coffin so we can get to it first. Put the nail in the coffin? He asked, bewildered. Jong-uk had never thought of that. Jiwon kindly gave the slightly dim-witted man a detailed explanation. We should release articles to the press since it's already been confirmed anyway. It'll be good for marketing, and UNK Food will have the image of being the original producers of halal food in our country. It was convincing. Jong-uk shook the materials in his hand like they were tambourines and noisily complimented Jiwon. As expected of you, Miss Kang, you think ahead of others. Let's quickly prepare press releases and give them to news agencies. Oh, why don't you participate in the project while you're at it? I can't be so brazen. How could I try to take credit when you did all the work? Jiwon shook her head. Just remember me when this goes well and you get promoted. I'll make a lot of those releases. You're a real one, Miss Kang. Of course I'll remember you. Don't worry. A few days later, the press releases were delivered to all the news agencies. The title was quite impressive. UNK Food, stretching beyond South Korea to the entire world, showcasing instant halal food products that billions of Muslims will be thrilled to see. The responses were explosive. UNK's stock prices went up, and as the project planner, Jong-uk was exorbitantly commended and praised, at least for 20 days, until a new press release hit the headlines of all the newspapers and websites. Got him. Got him. So that was the end of chapter 36. And let's read a few of the comments. I'm thinking there will be some contamination in the food, making it non-halal. Maybe in her last name, Hugh Yeon had her name on the project and her career suffered. But now that's if it's only Parabo's name, he will be the one to suffer. Okay. Cut his damn throat, greedy, evil goat. Looks like another evil woman is coming on stream. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is a good comment. No wonder Miss Yu knew how to handle Suman. She's experienced handling people like her before. Exactly. All right. So on to chapter 37, Jung-uk's lucky day. Yeah, it's going to be real lucky. All right, here we go with chapter 37, Jung-uk's lucky day. The sky was blue and the breeze was warm. Last night, Jung-uk talked with Suman on the phone for a whole 30 minutes. Ooh. And the roads that were usually clogged were clear. Not only that, the street signals were perfectly timed too. He was only stopped by a red light once on his way to work. The day that products are officially sold in stores, I'll tell her we should start dating. Then I'll propose, our parents will meet, and we'll find a newlywed house. Jung-uk joyously stepped on the pedal as he pictured his bright future. Had his thoughts reached Suman? His phone rang from a call from her. Hey, Suman. Good morning, Oppa. Her sunny and adorable voice greeted him. Did you sleep well? I slept so well that I overslept. Oh, you must have gone to bed too late yesterday. I'm sorry. Hey, that isn't your fault. She laughed like the sound of tinkling bells. But I wasn't able to have breakfast because I was in such a rush. Oh, you didn't have breakfast? Should I get you something? I want to drink strawberry milk. Strawberry milk? How cute. Jung-uk imagined stroking Suman's head and stepped on the brakes for a taxi that was trying to get in front of him. A driving etiquette he didn't usually follow. Okay, do you want some bread too? Just strawberry milk. Thank you, Oppa. Suman chimed cutely and hung up. Jung-uk stopped the car in front of a nearby convenience store and bought strawberry milk and blue canned coffee. After that day, when Suman shyly handed him the same coffee on the rooftop, it became his favorite drink. This is a real man's love. Okay, bro. The man in love stepped back into the car, having turned into a hopeless romantic. When the company building came into his view, his phone rang. This time it was Hyunjin. Yes, Director Kim, how are you? Hyunjin laughed good-naturedly when Jong-uk greeted him so cheerfully. The Middle East office had been finalized. It'll start operating next month. Really? Thank you for your special attentiveness to this project, Director. How happy would Suman be when Hugh Yeon was chased away to the Middle East? His heart felt like it would tear apart when he saw Suman pretend to be unaffected while Hugh Yeon made her miserable. Sure. Of course, you're my ship's first mate, aren't you? I have to take special care of you as captain, the director said. You're too kind, sir. I won't forget your kindness and continue putting forth my best effort. Yes, that's that. But what happened with the orders for the materials? They've gone into production. Getting the certification was tricky, but it was solved thanks to your help, Jong-uk explained. You keep on saying thanks to me. You're so humble. My goodness, director, you know I only tell the truth. You have a sense of humor, Hyunjin sounded quite pleased. Do you have time this evening? Why don't we have dinner together after work? It was the first time Hyunjin suggested they eat together first. Jong-uk almost shouted in glee. I'll come sprinting over if it's for you, sir. Haha, my secretary will be in touch. Do good work today, Mr. Kim. Yes, sir. Good day, sir. Jong-uk shouted like that, like he had become a military instructor, and clicked the in-call button. That's a nice little circle jerk conversation. Uh, Today was truly a lucky day. The moment he drove into the parking lot, there was a wide vacant spot next to the entrance. He parked his car in a single try and hummed in a horrible duck-like squawk as he stepped onto the elevator, arriving right on time. Good morning, Mr. Kim. You look like you're in a good mood, Mr. Kim. Even the greetings from the employees sounded like choirs blessing his future. Yes, good morning, everyone. Pardon? The employees looked at each other bewildered when Jong-uk greeted them airily, making them give forced smiles. Good morning, Mr. Kim? Hi. You must be tired because of working these days, huh? We'll have more slack next week, so let's go eat expensive Korean beef. Jong-uk grinned as he promised a company dinner of Korean beef, something he had never done. The employees wondered if he was dying because of the old saying that people didn't act like themselves when their deaths were imminent. Jong-uk set down his bag on his seat when he realized he left the strawberry milk in the car. I need to give it to my wifey before it gets warm. He hurried down to the parking lot and returned with a plastic bag that held the milk. But right before he placed it on Suman's desk, an unfamiliar person came to the office. Is Mr. Kim here? It was Hyun-jin's secretary. Jong-uk tossed the strawberry milk onto his desk for now. It was right here. Is Director Kim waiting for me? Yes, please come with me, the secretary ordered. You see that? I'm someone Director Kim sends people to escort. Jong-uk puffed out his chest and followed the secretary to Hyun-jin's office. Director Kim, I would have come myself if you had just... Oh! Thwack. The documents Hyun-jin threw landed on Jong-uk's head. You bastard! It was an explosive roar that made Jong-uk's shouting seem like a newborn baby crying. What are you going to do about this? Cough up a solution if you have a mouth. Jong-uk picked up the documents from the floor dumbfoundedly. They were articles that just came up online. On nearly every portal, there were similar headlines. Huge flop for UNK Food. A competitor launches wide range of instant halal food first. What kind of crap is this? Jong-uk fumbled through the rest of the article. After announcing a new line of instant halal food products, UNK has turned out to be one step behind as their main competitor's new instant halal food products hit supermarket shelves first. Move your head aside, you punk. You've done nothing worth leaving your oily head shining like that. Hyun-jin roared again. Jong-uk squeezed the papers in his hand and bowed so low his head nearly reached the ground. I'm sorry. This is from my lack of foresight. The comments the comments about us online and our customer service center are blowing up right now. Our stocks are plummeting too. Do you understand, you bald bastard? Ooh. With shaking hands, Hyun-jin threw a pile of printed papers full of online comments at Jong-uk. Early bird gets the worm, I guess. Lol. UNK probably copied the other company and tried to take credit, but they were too slow. Ha ha. Nice try, UNK Food. Maybe you should just stick to Korean food. The comments were all different, but their meanings were the same. This was a bolt from the blue for UK, who had put the nail in the coffin with their press releases a few days earlier. I'm sorry, I'll halt the project first. Halt? That's easier said than done, Hyun-jin shouted as he was on the verge of beating Jong-uk to death. You know the Middle East office? It's already being prepared, and we put in the order for the materials too. You said yourself that the outsourced agency has already started production, and that no other place can use our material since it was certified as halal. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry, Director Kim. Jong-uk apologized again. Is that all you have to say? I supported you and you repay me with this shit? Hyun-jin looked around for something to throw and sent a hardcover book flying in Jong-uk's direction. Jong-uk instinctively dodged from it, bending over to the ground. The thick book hit the wall and fell on his back. Gah! The part that happened to fall on him was the corner of the book. Damn. He groaned like his intestines were coming out. Hyun-jin breathed angrily and glowered at him as he gulped down the ice water his secretary brought him. Bring me a solution immediately, you imbecile. At this rate, that cup would come flying to Jong-uk as well. He prostrated himself on the ground like a sinner and repeatedly bowed his head. Just give me a little time. I'll come up with a solution that harms the company in the least way possible, he said, trying to assure the director. Get lost. I don't even want to see you anymore. Jong-uk backed out of the door hunched over, barely escaping. The good mood from the morning was gone, and his entire world was entering a raging storm. First, he went up to the rooftop and lit a cigarette. After smoking two, the situation slowly felt more real, and he started to organize his priorities. Ah, yes, this is all because of Yeon. She was the one who showed him the proposal, and she had done the actual work. Jong-uk had put his name on the project Yeon brought him. I'll just send her out now. Oh, damn. Jong-uk smoked another cigarette and bravely descended back to the director's office. Why did you come crawling in again? Hyunjin roared as soon as he appeared. Please calm down, sir. I actually didn't plan this entire project myself. What kind of crap are you saying now? Director Kim asked with thinning patience. Do you remember the employee who knows the Middle East well? This is a proposal she brought to me, begging for me to clear it. I brought it to you because it was commendable work, how hard the young newbie was working. And wouldn't the public be appeased a little if we put that newbie forward as the project planner and release apology statements saying she didn't know what she was doing because she's young? We can continue with the Middle East office as planned when things settle down a bit and send her there, Jong-uk concluded. She's young? How old is she? Hyunjin asked suspiciously. Jong-uk spoke confidently at the hope that this might tide over well. She's 25? 25? Wait, 25? Muttered Hyunjin as he wrinkled his forehead. And what's the new employee's name? Yeon. I see. Yeon. A strange crease appeared on Hyunjin's mouth. Mistaking the crease as a smile, Jong-uk spoke assuredly again. You know how blank girls are famous these days. Fermented bean paste girl, kimchi girl, expensive car girl. We can slap the new employee with the title halal girl. With the sacrifice of one employee, our company can avoid the onslaught of criticism. When Jong-uk went on blind dates, he was rejected and lost contact with the arranger of the date. Damn. When he told a girl he liked her, she became angry and cried. Double damn. Even a dating agency begged him to leave and said they'd give him all his money back after the first meeting. Fuck. That was the type of man he was, and this was the only way his brain operated. He's a piece of shit. Let me ask you one thing, Mr. Kim. Hyunjin spoke in a very soft voice. Yes, go ahead, sir. Did you submit the proposal Miss Yu brought you in your name? I was giving an opportunity to a passionate new employee. How can a 1-month-old employee submit such a large-scale proposal? Miss Yu gladly agreed, he answered simply. Hyunjin's eyelashes twitched. Jong-uk thought that he should bring the director magnesium capsules next time. Did you mention my name in the process? Of course. I told her to leave it to me without worrying since I'm under the wing of someone incredible. You son of a bitch. Unable to hold in his temper, Hyunjin's leg came flying, shooting at at Jong-uk's stomach. Damn, he getting his ass beat. Ow, Director Kim. Are you trying to kill me, you imbecile bastard? You don't even deserve to live. Calm down, sir. You can't be like this at work, Jong-uk pleaded. The secretary and other employees came rushing in to stop him, but Hyunjin continued to kick his legs at Jong-uk while his arms were bound. I knew it from the when you used to use my name to get around. You. I heard you told people you're under my wing just because I was nice to you for having the same last name. Go. Go and tell Hugh Yu that you were being delusional and I had absolutely nothing to do with this. Say I'm completely unrelated to this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Jung-uk apologized pitifully. You bastard. Halal girl? Good idea. You're going to be trending on the internet as bald halal guy. And be sent to the Middle East, you damn bastard. Jung-uk nearly rolled out to escape the office for the second time today. His head felt blank. That was the complete opposite of what he was expecting. He plodded into the marketing division office, clearly looking like he had been beat up by someone. The atmosphere in the office was different from the morning as everyone avoided his eyes and tapped intensely on their keyboards. The rumors had already started spreading around the company. Jong-uk sat at his desk and glared at Hugh Yeon's head beyond the partition. She clearly had someone backing her. If not, the director wouldn't have reacted in such a manner. He felt even angrier, thinking she was probably a nepotism hire. Damn this world, he shouted and stretched his hand to throw something when he touched the plastic bag. It was the strawberry milk he bought this morning for Suman. I don't know what's going to happen to me at this company. All I have to give to you is the strawberry milk. He is so dramatic. All I have to give to you is the strawberry milk. Jong-uk smiled desolately and took the milk to Suman's desk. Here, he said as he approached. What's this? Suman looked at him with wide eyes. It was cute. Strawberry milk. I don't drink strawberry milk. Thank you for the act of kindness, but I hope you don't give me anything like this in the future. I have something to deliver to the division next door, so I'll take my leave. Suman said coldly as she swept away with the packet. Holding the warm strawberry milk, Jong-uk looked at the door Suman walked out of. I brought you strawberry milk. Why can't you drink it? That's the end of chapter 37. I just want to say, bruh, she set you up. Oh, she probably would have taken the strawberry milk if things would have went well. But I don't think she should have drank it. You left it in your car. You left it on your desk. You got your ass beat for, I'm pretty sure, like at least an hour. At least an hour and a half. Maybe 2. You got your ass chewed out once. You went upstairs to go smoke 2 cigarettes. Then you came back downstairs and got your ass chewed up again. Then you remembered the strawberry milk and now you're going to go take it to her. She would have shit her pants. But he probably would have gave it to her right away though, when you think about it. But she dropped him so fucking fast. Strawberry milk? I can't drink that. Don't come over here. Bruh. That chapter was amazing. Though I can't stand him getting beat up at work by the higher ups. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. I hope that doesn't happen for real. That's fucked up. That's the end of chapter 37 of Marry My Husband. All right, on to chapter 38. The next day, news spread throughout the company like wildfire. Mr. Kim was called a son of a bitch in the office. No, he crawled out after being beaten up. The director was so angry that he threw his computer at him. Most of the members from Marketing Division 1 felt like years of stress had finally been digested in their stomachs. Of course, there was no telling what would happen if they explicitly said that, so they timidly expressed their joy by fidgeting their toes or typing hundreds of LOLs into their computer. Hugh Yeon. Junwon was about to call for Hugh Yeon when she saw her in front of the bathroom, but Hugh Yeon must have been in a rush. She hurried inside a stall without looking back. She must have urgent bathroom issues, Jiwon thought and turned on the faucet in the bathroom. Whoop! Nice! Woo-yah! Strange noises reminiscent of a caveman hunting cry came from the rightmost stall. Jiwon immediately realized where the sound was coming from. It was the same sound Hugh Yeon made when spicy pig trotters were on the lunch menu at the cafeteria. Hugh Yeon, what are you doing in there? Jiwon called. Oh, my lifesaver! Hugh Yeon's hair looked like a bush when she opened the door and came out. Jiwon stared at her in shock. What happened to your hair? I did some head banging because I was so excited. I wanted to do some cartwheels, but there wasn't enough room. So the reason she was in such a rush was for the head banging. Jiwon decided to give it a try next time. Sounds like you two are having fun. I thought a cave dweller had came out for to hunt earlier. Joran giggled as she stepped out of the left stall. This is so embarrassing. I thought it was empty. Hugh Yeon flapped her arms. Jiwon saw, however, that while Joran was casually washing her hands, the back of her hair was tousled like a dishwashing scrub. What? A dishwashing scrub? The three of them returned to the office, cracking jokes. Jung-uk's face became distorted when he saw them. Hugh-yeon, you. She seemed to be the easiest, but it looks like she's backed by someone, so I'll leave her alone. Joran Yang, she didn't do anything to mess up my project, so I'll push her aside for now. Ji-won Kang. Jung-uk gritted his teeth. If only Ji-won hadn't compelled him to sit out the press releases, none of this would have happened. He shoved his chair as he stood up and noisily marched to Ji-won's seat. Miss Kang. The employees all turned to look at the shouting. Do your work properly. What did you do about the report I asked you to submit by today? Jung-uk demanded. It's on top of your desk. I put it there because you were gone earlier. Did you not see it? Jung-uk looked at his desk and stomped his feet. You should have told me you put it there. Is work a joke to you? I messaged you about it right away, she replied calmly. Jung-uk's face flushed purple. Talking back to everything I say, you think you're so smart, don't you? Pardon? What a way to pick faults. Ji-won blinked and looked at Jung-uk, which made him angrier. You screwed me over, and you're making that innocent face? Are you telling me to go down alone? Look down respectfully while I'm still being nice. When Jung-uk's nonsense reached the level of verbal abuse, Min-won spoke up. Sir, I think that's too far. What are you adding your 2 cents for? Jung-uk shrieked. How dare you jump in when a superior is giving a warning? I knew it from when you were dating in the office. Miss Kang, did you tell Mr. Park to act like this? Where are your manners? Is that what your parents taught you? Too far, bruh. It's been too far, but you definitely going too far. He had crossed the line. Any rationality in Ji-won snapped. The employees who had been listening gasped, and Min-won was at a loss for words as well. Did you just ask about my parents? Ji-won slowly stood up. Jung-uk flinched momentarily and then snorted in her face. Yeah, I did. What are you going to do about it? Your mom ran away? Jung-uk Kim. While everyone was frozen, a low and stiff voice came from the entrance. Jung-uk awkwardly turned around. Mr. Yu? Jung-uk dropped his briefcase on the ground and came striding over. He lifted Jung-uk by the collar with one hand. Mr. Yu, wait. Jung-uk's legs swung in the air, his feet barely touching the ground. He attempted to release himself from Jung-uk's grip, but no matter how much he struggled, Ji-hyuk. What I saying? It's Ji-hyuk. Jesus. Ji-hyuk didn't even budge. Ji-hyuk balled his other hand into a fist and raised it in the air. Jung-uk squeezed his eyes shut as the fist shot through the air. No, Mr. Yu, Ji-won shouted. The large fist stopped right in front of Jung-uk's face, like it was blocked by something. Mr. Kim. Ji-hyuk, ooh, Ji-hyuk muttered violently as he tightened his hold on Jong-uk's collar. You'll receive a notice soon. Ji-hyuk let go. The struggling Jong-uk landed with a splat on the floor. Pardon? Notice? What? Jong-uk shakily pushed himself up when Ji-hyuk's words cut through the air. A notice from the disciplinary committee requiring your presence. Oh, okay. Oh, man. The old loud Jong-uk could no longer be found when he sat in front of the personnel committee. He had huge, puffy bags under his eyes, and his thick lips were dry and dark. The committee mercilessly shot questions at him like bullets. Mr. Jong-uk Kim, do you admit to verbally abusing and mocking Miss Ji-won Kang in front of the employees? Jong-uk's eyebrows twisted. I just said a few things because I was mad. How can that be verbally abusing and mocking her? Who said that? We recreated your statements with the assistance of Miss Kang. The reporter of this incident, and multiple witnesses. The committee member cleared his throat and began to read the prepared documents. You screwed me over, and you're making that innocent face? Look down respectfully while I'm still being nice. Where are your manners? Is that what your parents taught you? I'll stop here. The committee member couldn't bring himself to read the last sentence. He glared disgustingly at Jong-uk. These are the few things you said because you were mad. Then are you saying you speak like this when you're angry? Oh, you always speak like this when you're angry? Is that a problem? When I first entered the company, it seems you don't understand the severity of the situation, Mr. Kim. The committee member cut him off, like he wasn't even worth listening to. Another committee member, who had been silently listening, opened a different packet. There was an incident in the past when you repeatedly turned down Miss Jorang Yang's proposals because of your personal feelings. Is this correct? I didn't remember because I'm a little forgetful. Who would have known she was submitting the same proposal over and over again? Miss Yang was mocking me, Jong-uk cried, trying to plead his case. A child would have known it was the same proposal, which means you didn't even read it. The aforementioned incident is a case of negligence of duty. Ooh. That's not fair. I was already disciplined for the incident with a written account. You consecutively received C's during your performance evaluations. This isn't a grade that appears just because you wrote 2 written accounts, is it? The reason for deducting points are leaving work without notice, habitual tardiness, lack of competency, and a varied number of others, the committee member said, detailing Jong-uk's misconduct. What does that have to do with the performance evaluations? Also, I didn't submit any objections even after that malicious evaluation for the peace of the company. There are also reports from your subordinates about you evaluating them maliciously. There was a torrent of statements given by employees, including Joran, that Jong-uk had discriminated against them because they had gotten on his bad side. Moreover, after Miss Yang returned from her parental leave, you continually abused her verbally. What was the reason for this? Verbal abuse? Did Miss Yang say that? If pointing out workplace errors is verbal abuse, everything is verbal abuse in this world. Miss Yang herself submitted the evidence. The committee member stuck the recorded USB into a laptop. Soon, loud bellows played in the speakers. Do I look like I have time to teach you that one by one? How many years has it been since you worked here? You still can't write a proposal properly? You lost your touch after coming to work from watching a kid at home, huh? Listen obediently. If you're a married old lady now, don't act so uselessly. Wow. Quit if you have a problem with it. You should just quit and stay in the kitchen at home if you don't want to work. Why do you keep on coming to work and being a nuisance to others? Does your husband not earn enough money these days? Or was he fired? Huh? There were too many recording files from over the months that it was hard to play them all. The committee member pressed the pause button and spoke again. I'll ask you again, Mr. Kim. Were these conversations not verbal abuse? I I admit I was a bit harsh, but you admit it? Next. There's more? The blood drained from his face. You threatened the newly employed Miss Hugh Yeon Yu and proceeded with her proposal in your name. Do you admit to this? I didn't threaten her. We agreed that I would put my name on the proposal and Miss Yu would join the team later, Jong-uk said. Miss Yu submitted a recording of the situation as evidence. Damn these recordings. All these wenches know how to do is record. Jong-uk shouted internally. Soon, Jong-uk and Hugh Yeon's conversation played through the speakers. I said I'm giving you a chance. I'm saying I'll let you borrow my name. You can submit the proposal under my name and put your name underneath. I'll become a regular employee using my own merit. If you bring this up again, I'll report it to Mr. Yu, sir. Do you think you'll become a regular employee with that attitude? Think about your performance evaluation. Your merit might not be enough. Are you threatening me right now? I'm saying you should think long and hard about this if you don't want to be out of a job after just 1 year of work. Click, the recording stopped. Do you have anything to say? At this point, Jong-uk had a very rational suspicion. Hyunjin must have been involved for the disciplinary committee meeting to be held so quickly. He thought they were close because they had the same last name, but it was all an illusion. The meeting that began in the morning ended late in the afternoon. Jong-uk took the notice of disciplinary action with him to the roof and smoked a few cigarettes. Function: Marketing Division 1, Position, Manager, Name, Jong-uk Kim. According to the results of the disciplinary committee, a single sentence put an end to his prideful UNK life. After judgment by the disciplinary committee under Articles 10, 19, and 30 of the Rewards and Regulations, the following disciplinary action is being taken. 1. Demoted from current rank to section chief. 2. 6 months of probation and 10% pay deduction. Having become Section Chief Kim now, Jong-uk faced the cold winds in contemplation. Would he resign as the company wanted him to, or would he endure and wait for an opportunity? At the end of his reflection, his thoughts of Sumin, his future wife who didn't answer his calls or respond to his texts after he returned from being beaten by the director. Yes, I'll meet with her and speak about it properly. Don't do it. You about to be salty as fuck, bro. You about to feel real dumb. But yes, keep going. With a steel resolve, Jong-uk extinguished the stub of the cigarette in the ashtray. The moment he was about to step into the rooftop garden, he heard Sumin's voice. Oppa, have this. Jong-uk stretched his neck out and peeked in the direction of the sound. He only saw his back, but he could tell the man Sumin had just called Oppa was Minwon. Thank you. I was feeling thirsty. Minwon accepted the blue canned coffee and opened it. Of course, I'll buy you something even tastier once I get my paycheck. His clenched fists trembled. Jong-uk walked towards the two with the fierce face of a husband who had witnessed his wife's affair. Pow! He threw a punch at Minwon's face without any hesitation. Mr. Kim, what's wrong with you? Sumin shrieked. She grabbed Jong-uk's arm anxiously as Minwon spat out blood and rubbed his mouth. What are you doing? He asked darkly. You seduced another man's woman when you have a girlfriend? Jong-uk screamed. Do you want to die? The employees who had witnessed the situation and gathered to pull them apart dropped their mouths wide open. What are you talking about? Sumin shouted. Jong-uk turned to Sumin with the eyes of an injured beast. Tell me, Sumin, did you become distant because of Mr. Park? He asked testedly. Mr. Kim, you're not in your right mind. Sumin backed up and disappeared. Minwon looked at Jong-uk like he was a madman and left after shaking his head. Jung-uk let go of the notice he was holding. The wrinkled paper flew far away in the wind. Yes, I'm going to make a comeback. I can't ever give up. He bit his lip, accepting the disciplinary action of being demoted and the 6 months of probation with a salary deduction. Jung-uk packed his belongings and entered his probationary period, but the rumors he left behind on his last day survived. Did you hear? Apparently Suman Jong and Jung-uk Kim are dating. Ji-young-uk are dating. Ugh. I knew it. They disappeared at the same time and came back together once. He took her as soon as Miss Yang's project was canceled. I heard he ruined Miss Yang's project on purpose to put Suman Jung on his team. That's sickening. She must have a strong stomach. Don't they have more than a 10-year age gap? Ooh. And that's the end of chapter 38. Hilarious. Okay, so I'm trying not to do comparisons to the webtoon or the TV show anymore, but I did not I thought in the in the drama and in the webtoon, Kim was Mr. Kim was related to the director. But it seems like he was just throwing his name around because they had similar last names. So he tried to use it as for clout, and it finally bit him in the ass. Suman deserves it, and I'm so happy there are rumors going around about her. And people think that Minwon is messing around with her. So it's just throw that kindling because we're about to start a big ass bonfire with all this shit that's coming up. I'm happy Ji Hyuk did not punch him. I'm happy he didn't punch him, even though I pictured it in my head, but I bet it was so funny to see him kicking his feet when he got picked up. It was I'm so happy they're done with him. I'm obviously, he said he's not leaving, so he's going to probably show back up in the story later. But this whole chapter, I loved it. It was great. And we'll be back with chapter 39. Let me read some of the comments, because I know they enjoyed it too. Everybody else had to of. Everyone deserves what they're getting. Everything Parbo has done is disgusting. Suman sucks, and so does Minwon. I hate Parbo as much as the next gal, but will Director Kim also be punished for beating him up? I doubt it. I don't know whether to root for Parbo or feel creeped out by him when he punched Minwon. On one hand, Minwon deserved it, even with the information available to Parbo. On the other hand, he didn't do it for Jiwon. He did it for selfish reasons. Yeah. So everybody already kind of knows he's a cheater, which I mentioned, and I'm here for it. But whoever said they all deserved it, they do. They all do. They're all trash. And I think that's why this chapter was so satisfying. And yeah, I can't wait for chapter 39, which is titled The Department Head, If Not the Manager. And I'll see you then. We're back with episode 39. Jiwon, I feel so wronged and upset. Jiwon sipped the beer in front of her as she listened to Suman moan on and on. You know, right? I don't have any interest in dating, and I don't want a fat, bald man who's 10 years older than me, even if someone offers me 10 truckloads of them, Suman wailed. You're not interested in dating? where you're interested in other people's husbands. You don't want a fat, bald man who's 10 years older than you, but you want the 10 trucks. What an easy lifestyle. Jiwon was impressed. So, Jiwon, can't you help me? Suman finally got to the point after prattling on for a while. How? You've worked here for a long time. Tell everyone Mr. Kim and I weren't in that kind of relationship. Jiwon shrugged. I already said that multiple times, but people believe what they want to believe. It won't work. Suman's face turned even more glum when Jiwon shook her head. It was the exact face a newbie employee would make when they were caught up in rumors with the man who was at the top of the company's to avoid list. Well, it's only natural. Jong-uk's presence in our division was pretty prominent. Moreover, he had terribly failed a project, threw a fit, and was badly beaten around by the disciplinary committee because of it. Jong-uk's name was going down in the company's history, and Sumun was marked as that very legend's girlfriend. What should I do? It's so hard to be at work. Jiwon, tell them for me again, Suman clasped her hands and pleaded. Jiwon rested her chin in her palm and tapped the table. If it's too difficult, why don't you request to switch divisions? Switch divisions? Suman asked incredulously. It's a big company. You can move to an office that's far away, and once you're out of sight, the rumors will settle down and everyone will forget soon. I don't want to be apart from you, though, Suman whined. You mean you don't want to be apart from Minwon, Suman thought. But you're stressed out because of it. We can see each other outside the office, too. We can meet after work or on the weekends, too. Hugh Yeon hadn't requested to switch divisions this time, and Jiwon thought Suman would receive her fate instead. Suman sighed. I'll think about it. Her shoulders drooped. She felt like her head was going to explode from all the contemplating. The person who was supposed to be her track to success was gone. Will it be better to switch divisions? No, I haven't even gotten revenge on Jiran for making me like this yet. The rumors became larger, like a snowball rolling down an icy slope. No one mentioned it in front of her, but Suman could feel it from the way people looked at her in the busy morning when everyone was getting to work. Stop peeking at me. It's so annoying. Suman pretended to be unaffected as she walked past the lobby into the elevator. She pressed her lips together in irritation and then smiled when she discovered someone she wanted to see. Mr. Park! Miss Jung! Minwon greeted Suman from where he was waiting in front of the elevator. Good morning. You too. Did you not bring your car today? You're taking the elevator from the first floor. I came early today, so I'm heading back up after getting some coffee, he explained. Wow, you're so diligent. For me, it's tiring to even get to work. I should take after you. The elevator arrived while they spoke. Being neither tall nor muscular, Suman was pushed aside and shoved by the horde of people. Come in this way. Minwon wrapped his arm around her, putting her in the corner of the elevator. Thank you, Mr. Park, Suman whispered, gripping Minwon's sleeve. Wait! Just as the doors were closing, two men ran at full speed and squeezed themselves in. The elevator began to move upward. Did you know about Marketing Division 1? One of the men who had got on brought up those damn rumors again. He spoke quietly, but everyone in the elevator pricked their ears and focused. Marketing Division 1? About how Mr. Kim was demoted to section chief? Not only that, I heard he's going out with that division's new female employee. You know, the pretty and small 27-year-old? I know who you're talking about. Dang, she's got strange tastes, the other man shivered. It's not that she has strange tastes. Apparently, she tried to use Mr. Kim to get privileges from him. She threw him away like an old pair of shoes as soon as he received disciplinary action. Wow, she's fit for being an evil queen. Suman tightened her grip on Minwon's sleeves. She had no defense against being hated. Her heart felt tight. The crowd lessened every time the elevator stopped. The men were speaking about the rumors got off on the 8th floor. The ninth floor arrived. Nearly all the remaining employees stepped out. Minwon and Suman did not. Are you okay? He asked gently. Suman looked up at Minwon with red eyes. Yes. She obviously wasn't. Minwon tentatively held out his hand. Here, why don't you give me your bag and get some fresh air on the rooftop? If someone asks, I'll tell them you went to the bathroom. Instead of giving him her bag, Minwon placed her hand on Minwon's. Can't you come with me? I'm scared to be alone. This sneaky, conniving ass bitch. Already about to have another rumor that she's stealing somebody else's man. So she's a tit for tat, sleeping with her boss type bitch at work. And now she about to be a I'ma steal your man type bitch too. Okay, I got you, slut. All right, hang on. That's like the real definition of a slut. Not the part with Mr. Kim, because she didn't sleep with him. She did flirt with him. But the part where she gets with Minwon, slut. That's slut behavior. Minwon's heart turned softer. I'm normally soft-hearted to women anyway. He stretched out his hand to press the rooftop button. Soft-hearted. You a slut too, dude. The fuck? They deserve each other. I'm sorry. I'm getting heated. I'm sorry. That time because of me, Suman muttered in a tiny voice. Why would you apologize for that? Mr. Kim is the weird one. You don't believe those rumors? What rumors? That I and Mr. Kim? Suman looked down and hesitated. Minwon grinned. Mr. Kim's always come on to new women in our division. That's why our division is all men. If people think his delusions were real, they're idiots, Minwon said confidently. The two of them stepped off the elevator together. The rooftop was vacant because it was morning. Suman stood in front of the railing with a view of the entire forest of buildings and took in a deep breath. That's refreshing. I feel like I can breathe now, Mr. Park. Minwon leaned on the railing next to her. Are you feeling better? A little. Suman shook her head, powerlessly, and smiled at Minwon. Actually, I'm thinking about requesting a change of divisions. Changing divisions? You going to switch entire divisions? He asked, surprised. Yes, Jiwon suggested I go to another division if things are too hard for me. She said people will forget about it if I'm out of their sight. Sound like something she say, he agreed. Jiwon is always smart and rational. Suman raised her hands on the railing and rested her chin on them. Jiwon has everything I want. Height, ability, indifference, a boyfriend. Boyfriend? Minwon chuckled. Miss Jong, do you want a boyfriend? No. You just want Jiwon's boyfriend. Suman's face flushed like she had unintentionally spoken her mind. She furiously shook her head from side to side. I'm just envious that she has someone like you to lean on when things get hard. It's not that I need a boyfriend. Minwon was concerned about Suman, unlike Jiwon, who took care of herself. Suman made Minwon want to protect her. Don't switch divisions, he said suddenly. What? She looked at him with wide eyes. Don't run away because of that. Everyone will know they were just rumors after some time. Mr. Park, don't make that kind of face either. Minwon tucked her hair that was scattered by the wind behind her ear. You can talk to me anytime. I can't be a replacement for your boyfriend, but you can lean on me as your brother-in-law. Suman's heart shriveled up in the words brother-in-law. However, Minwon didn't notice and turned around first. We should get going now. Mr. Yu's here too, so we can't leave our desk empty for too long. Mr. Yu, Suman inwardly slapped her knee. Why didn't I think of that sooner? The manager might be gone, but the department head is still here. So she about to go try and get with Mr. Yu? That's not gonna happen, boo. And I cannot wait for her to get shut down. The office was peaceful and quiet. Some employees spoke in low tones amongst themselves, while others tapped on their mouse and calculators. Most of them focused on their tasks, staring at their monitors with dead eyes. I'm leaving for an administrative meeting. I took care of the documents that were needed by approval, that needed my approval, and left them on my desk. So please take them yourselves. I've sent out emails for the documents that were returned, Ji Hyuk said as he strolled out of the office. The employees who had been sitting with dead eyes robotically stood up one by one and took their documents from Ji Hyuk's desk. Wow, that was fast, as expected of Mr. Yu. Now we're talking. The employees were touched because they no longer had to deal with Jong-uk's shouting and tossing papers. Even Ji-won agreed, although she still felt uncomfortable around Ji-hyuk. Ji-hyuk had been absent due to his business trip for about a month, but for someone who was behind on a lot of work, his speed was unbelievable. Approximately 2 hours later, Ji-hyuk returned as soon as the administrative meeting ended and gathered the employees. I apologize for being absent for so long. All of you went through a lot while I was gone. Yes, we did go through a lot, the employees sitting in the meeting room replied with their eyes. I will share the results of the administrative meeting. I requested more personnel due to Mr. Kim's absence, and if no one from other departments volunteers, someone will be assigned as soon as the company's workforce is done being expanded. Jong-uk's absence nearly had no impact on their work, but the employees all stayed quiet. They just hoped whoever came would be good at what they did. Next is the problematic project led by Mr. Kim. The project is to come to a full stop until public sentiment has settled. It has been handed to Miss Yu, who was the original planner. It'll take some time before this project can begin, so let's bring this up again later in the future. Hee Yuan silently danced her feet under the table now that she had her idea returned. Miss Yang's project, which was indefinitely postponed, please continue from where you left that. Can you do that, Miss Yang? Yes, I can do it. Joran replied immediately. Sumin tightly gripped her coffee cup. She never imagined that idiotic bald man would cause this whole mess. Her path to become a regular employee was taken from under her nose. I mean, if you would have did your job properly when you were at the taste testing, none of this would have happened. Lastly, I heard Mr. Kim promised a company dinner. They were the last words of Mr. Kim when he was on the elevator, a company dinner promising Korean beef. Well, we'll have one this Friday, and participation is optional as always. Please find a place, Miss Yu, and have it confirmed by Miss Kang. Don't worry about the price. Yes, sir. Just leave it to me. Her mighty response echoed in the meeting room. Jiwon was certain Hugh Yeon would find the most perfect restaurant in this area. Ji Hyuk had aptly assigned her to the task. Oh, because she a foodie. She gonna pick a good place. That is all. And are there any other issues? Ji Hyuk looked around the table, but the employees all avoided his eyes. They hadn't done anything in particular. It was just instinct to not want to look your boss in the eye. His gaze slowly moved and landed on Suman, who was sitting at the end. Unlike the other employees who avoided his eyes before he reached them, Suman covertly beamed at him and quickly looked down. She's trying to flirt with him already? Girl is moving quickly. How did you know my lifesaver? Hugh Yeon asked Jiwon as soon as she carefully set down her bowl of beef soup. What? About the halal project. Hugh Yeon looked around and stretched forward, whispering, "Didn't you tell me to give it to Mr. Kim because you knew it would become problematic?" How would I know that? I'm not some kind of fortune teller. Actually, she had known the entire country would be buzzing about UNK's food competitor, beating them to the punch and releasing instant halal food first. Minwon had been furious when he heard that UNK had become a laughingstock and that their stock prices were plummeting. If Jiwon hadn't remembered that, she wouldn't have been able to recall the incident. He helped me in a way, I guess. Jiwon smiled warily to herself. UNK did end up releasing halal products. They started with Malaysia and expanded to the Middle East, but that wasn't this year. Then why did you tell me to hand him the project over? Halal foods is really popular these days, Jiwon replied. I knew that our competitor would have been aggressively expanding their international product lines, so I thought it was unlikely that our products would hit the shelves first. Whoa. The emotion in Hu Yeon's eyes changed from respect to adoration. Feeling a stab to her conscience, Jiwon took the largest piece of meat from her bowl and put it in Hu Yeon's. I'm not that hungry today. You should have this. It had the opposite effect. Jiwon realized this belatedly when Hu Yeon made a face like she had just received a fist-sized diamond. You're the only person in this cruel world who'll give me beef from their soup, my lifesaver. Hu Yeon said even more emotionally. Just then, someone put their tray next to Jiwon's. Jiwon brightly greeted the person, thinking it was Joran. Good afternoon. You too, Miss Kang. Jiwon flinched and turned around. It wasn't Joran, but Ji Hyuk, who had raised his spoon to his mouth. Ji Hyuk hadn't shown up in their company cafeteria until now, and no one had ever said they saw him there either. But now he had suddenly appeared with a tray. What brings you here, Mr. Yu? Jiwon asked. Lunch. Hu Yeon contemplated whether she should kick Ji Hyuk under the table, but decided against it. She knew how big of a deal it was for him to give up his lunch break and come down to the cafeteria. He probably hasn't gotten any sleep these days either. She felt guilty about visiting Blue Cafe with Ji-won when she had taken his card. Leave it to me, my idiotic brother. Hu Yeon determinedly tore into a hunk of beef. Dang. And that's how it ends. That doesn't feel like that's a good ending for the chapter. It's fine. It's fine. It's not fine, but I'll deal with it. That didn't not much happened this chapter, but it did because we found out Minwon is still not interested in Sumin, though he knows he knows for sure. Don't nobody want Mr. Kim. Nobody's going to believe those rumors. He's delusional. He was delusional. We still know Minwon's a cheater, but he don't be wanting to cheat. He doesn't want to cheat with Sumin because he's not looking at her like that. Everybody has PTSD in their department from dealing with Mr. Kim, and hopefully everybody starts to enjoy their job again because they don't have to worry about his ass. I think that Mr. Lee, is it Mr. Lee that likes Joran? I think he's going to end up in trying to come over there. It's happened in the webtoon and stuff. So I feel like he's going to try and come over there. Maybe. I don't know. It might be different. We'll see. I know, I understand Jiwon feeling guilty, but she can't say like, yeah, because this is my second life and I kind of already knew this was going to happen. So I was helping you because you're actually a good person and fuck all these little evil people around us. But it's fine. I can't believe. And then Ji Hyuk showing up. Ji Hyuk showing up in the cafeteria and sitting right beside Jiwon. I think the next chapter is about to pop off, and I think that's why they ended it like that right when he sat down, because Minwon and Sumin. Minwon and Sumin, they usually eat with Jiwon. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited. Chapter 40 is titled The Affair. And I'll be right back with chapter 40. And we're back at episode 40. And this, I don't know if I said it, but the title is Affair. Good morning. Suman greeted all smiles. It was still early. There were about 10 people in the office, including Ji-hyuk and Minwon. You're here early. Hey, good morning. Minwon and someone else greeted her back. Hearing the sound, Ji-hyuk opened his eyes and straightened his exhausted body. Mr. Yu, you're here early as usual. Suman came over to him when he entered the break room. Yes. Can I fix you some coffee? I was just about to drink my morning coffee too, she offered. No, thank you. Ji-hyuk pulled out a bottle of juice from the refrigerator. Suman took the bottle from him as if she had been waiting, and poured it into his cup for him. Here you go, Mr. Yu. Ji-hyuk stood there for a moment and then held out his hand. Oh no! Just before the cup full of juice moved from Suman to Ji-hyuk, it plummeted to the ground, leaving pieces of glass everywhere. I'm so sorry. Are you okay, Mr. Yu? My hands were slippery and... It's fine, he said matter-of-factly. Ji-hyuk pulled out a tissue and wiped his stained clothes and shoes. Suman bent down with an apologetic expression and quickly began to pick up the pieces of glass. Ow! She screamed. Blood dripped down above where the juice was spilled. Ow, that hurts! If someone didn't bring her a bandage and stick it on her in this situation, they were probably a psychopath. Suman pressed her wounded finger so more blood would come out. Over there. Ji-hyuk lifted a finger and pointed at the medical kit on the shelf. There are bandages in the first aid kit. Please wipe the floor so it's not sticky. The psychopath shut the door and left. What the heck? Suman asked aloud, bewildered. She had hurt her finger for nothing. Suman pulled out more tissues and threw them in a clump on the spilled juice. She bit her lip as she collected the broken pieces when the door opened again. Are you okay, Miss Jung? I heard something crack. Mr. Park! Suman looked up at Minwon from where she was hunched over on the ground and made a pitiful expression. I have an owie here. Oh no! Contrary to Ji-hyuk, who left without even pretending to care, Minwon bent over and examined Suman's finger. There's quite a lot of blood. Sit here. Yes, this is how it should be, Suman smirked as she looked at Minwon, then quickly pulled out the medical kit and was applying a bandage on her finger. I'm sorry, it slipped out of my hands. That happens. I'll clean it up, so you should rest a bit. You must have been surprised. He wrapped the broken cup in a newspaper and threw it out. Then he meticulously wiped the floor. All Suman had to do was sit on a chair and watch. The pride that Ji-hyuk had hurt felt like it had recovered a bit. A bit. Sure. I'll try to remember to comment on that later. I guess Korean beef really is nice. It brought you to this company dinner too, Miss Yang. It was Friday evening. Jiwon walked side by side with Joran, cracking a joke. The rest of the employees, who normally would have been brainstorming ways to get out of the company dinner, all had bright faces as well. I should be treated to Korean beef with the company money. I should be treated to Korean beef with the company money once. And I'm curious what a dinner without parbo is like, Joran quietly added under her breath as she looked around. I don't see Miss Jung. She left first with Hugh Yeon earlier to confirm our group's order. She's working hard these days. It's nice to see, Joran noted. Was it because of the ghastly rumors with Jong-uk? Suman was working the hardest she'd ever had since she entered the company. She not only arrived 30 minutes earlier than normal, but finished all her tasks and did menial work like making copies and faxing materials. She even volunteered to tidy up the break room. Jiwon almost suspected Suman had died and came back to the past too. Welcome. Please allow me to guide you. When the employees arrived at a specialty Korean beef restaurant, Yu Yeon came out and bowed. She looked like she worked there the way she had on an apron from the restaurant. It was our newbie working double shift these Is our newbie working double shift these days? Joran asked playfully. Yu Yeon grinned and clicked the tongs in her hand. I heard company dinners are an extension of work. I should do my duties as the youngest. Oh, Mr. Park, please sit here. This is your seat, Mr. Kim, and you're over here. Miss Jong, Miss Kang, your seat is over there. It was hard to tell what her strategy for seating everyone was, but everyone's spots were already decided. Ji-hyuk was in the very middle. Yu Yeon was next to him, and Ji-won sat across from him, with Min-won at her side. This is tricky, Ji-won thought. Suman's seat was about 3 seats away. It would be natural if Ji-won switched seats with her when she went to the bathroom later. I'll take responsibility for cooking the meat at this table. All you have to do is eat. It'll be too chewy if it's overcooked. Yu Yeon was like a fish in water in front of the grill. She should quit work and start a barbecue place with her skills. Ji-won put a perfectly cooked piece of meat in her mouth and chewed. While the employees ate and drank, Suman quietly stood up. Ji-won quickly followed after her to change seats. Bathroom break? I'll go with you. Oh, me too, Yu Yeon chimed in. She hastily handed the tongs to Ji-hyuk and followed them. She only tagged along so she could naturally sit Ji-won next to Ji-hyuk. It would be weird if I put them together from the beginning. Our girl's smart. Miss Yu, Suman said with a smile, you're good at cooking meat. You're more suited to be a part-time worker here than working at the company. I know, right? I'll get by just fine working at a barbecue place, even if I don't become a regular employee. What will you do for a living, Miss Jong? Suman's expression darkened, and she left after just washing her hands. Ji-won heard Yu Yeon mutter something under her breath about cooking Suman alive. She was grateful they weren't enemies. This place is really good, isn't it? There won't be anywhere this tasty around here. You did an excellent job finding a restaurant. Our division doesn't do company dinners often. So we have to eat expensive and good quality food when we do, Ji-won said. Wise words. Ji-won and Yu Yeon joked with each other as they returned, but stopped in their tracks at the same time. Why was Suman sitting next to Ji-hyuk when she should have been aiming for Min-won? Miss Jong, that's my seat, Yu Yeon said. Suman smiled. There's no such things as my seat or your seat at a company dinner. Everyone becomes closer by moving around and switching seats. Isn't that right, Mr. Park? Right, Min-won answered as she downed a glass of soju. Now I'm going to cook her alive, Ji-won promised to herself as she sat back down next to Min-won. Yu Yeon, having no other choice, sat where Suman had been. Suman victoriously raised a bottle of soju. Mr. Yu, let me pour you a drink. I already have some, he declined. Then will you pour me some? Ji-hyuk took the bottle and filled Suman's glass all the way to the brim. Alcohol? Ji-won began to carry out the plan that lit up in her head. Shall we make a toast? Yes, Yu Yeon readily responded. She was a fine drinker, second to no one. Ji-won quickly filled her glass with water while everyone's attention was on Yu Yeon. It's boring just to make a toast, so let's go one by one. I'll go first. Yu Yeon downed her glass and turned it bottom side up over her head. Phew! Cheers to Marketing Division 1! Cheers! The employees burst out laughing as they downed their glasses one by one. No one said it out loud, but everyone wanted to see Ji-hyuk holding his glass above his head. When it was finally his turn, Ji-hyuk gulped down his drink in a single breath. Sitting across from him, Ji-won was able to see him tighten his clutch on his glass. He took in a deep breath and then lifted his arm. While everyone watched and held their breaths, Ji-hyuk's glass turned upside down over his head. Woohoo! They cheered as loudly as when the South Korean soccer team had entered the semifinals of the World Cup. Ji-won also laughed out loud along with the hooting employees. Anyone would have cracked a smile when they saw an impassive man who was over 6 feet tall shaking his glasses over his head. Shaking his glass over his head, not glasses. Gosh. Ugh, it's so bitter. How are you so good at drinking, Mr. Yu? Sumin asked, downing her glass and lightly punching Ji-hyuk on the shoulder. With this, Ji-won became certain that Sumin was trying to find another shield lifeline. I pull out... Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get good, but I can't, apparently. I'll pour everyone some, Ji-won offered, lifting the bottle and pouring drinks for everyone she could reach. A little for herself, half to Ji-hyuk, and filled to the brim for Minwon and Sumin. Aren't you drinking too much? We have plans for the weekend, so be careful, Minwon whispered in her ear when everyone was a little tipsy. Ji-won shook her head and turned her gaze to Sumin. I'm okay, but Sumin seems a little drunk. Can I take her to your car? It's in the corner of the parking lot, he said. Minwon held out his keys. Ji-won pocketed them and stood up. Sumin, let's go. You need some air. Sumin shook her head from side to side as she spoke with a tied tongue. It's okay, Ji-won. I mean, Miss Kwang. See, you are drunk. I got the keys from Minwon, so let's go rest together. Ji-won dragged Sumin out of the restaurant and sat next to her after putting her in the back seat. Work is so hard, but it's a relief I have you. Is it? Ji-won replied absent-mindedly. Sumin leaned her head on Ji-won's shoulder. That's it, Sumin pouted. It was a tough time when I first entered the company, too. If it wasn't for Minwon, I might have quit. Bragging about your boyfriend every second you get, Sumin giggled. Well, it's true. You know Minwon's a good person. You won't find anyone like him. Ji-won added how generous, sensitive, caring, and handsome Minwon was, as if she was giving a presentation. He's similar in age to Mr. Yu, but aren't they completely opposite? Mr. Yu has no flexibility. Is he that bad? Sumin asked. Ji-won sighed. You know, I've worked with him since coming to the company. There are a few times I almost quit because of it. Someone once said he can't get promoted because he separates work and personal matters too strictly and has no flexibility, even though he's competent. Ji-won said, Whew. Ji-won wondered what Sumin would do if she knew Ji-hyuk had confessed to her. Would you desperately try to get him away from me? Why do you try so hard to isolate me? Because she's a narcissist, girl. Oh, I didn't bring my phone, Ji-won muttered, as she fumbled through her pockets. I'll bring you your bag while I'm there. I'll tell Minwon to take us home. Okay, thanks, Ji-won. Sumin raised the corners of her mouth and returned to the restaurant. The dinner was almost over. Most people had already left for round 2 or gone home. Ji-won found her bag and then handed Sumin's bag to Minwon. Can you take this to Sumin? I need to use the bathroom. You're going straight home, right? I'll take you. I need to watch Sumin get home, too. I'll just think of taking a drive around Seoul. Minwon grinned and took the bag from her. Ji-won was about to head for the bathroom when she spoke in a loud voice. I'll be back soon. You should call a chauffeur. Her last words were so intentional that Minwon called the chauffeur service without too much thought and went to his car. When he opened the back seat door, he found Suman curled up in a ball sleeping. Her tiny shape was adorable and endearing. Miss Jung, are you okay? Suman half opened her eyes and sat up with a shiver. She looked at Minwon with a half-lidded gaze. Oppa, I'm so cold. Minwon sat in the back seat like he was drawn to it and took off his jacket. When he wrapped it around Suman, she naturally leaned on him. So warm. I called a chauffeur. We'll take you home soon. Jiwon said she's coming soon. Oppa. Her lipstick-stained lips softly pressed against the breast pocket of his shirt. Can we not talk about Jiwon? Minwon swallowed. Suman's pale legs were emphasized beneath her ridden-up skirt. She looked tipsy and seductive. Jiwon wasn't even in Minwon's head anymore. Miss Jong? Minwon muttered. Suman wrapped her arms around his neck and pulled him towards her. You'll take me home, won't you? She whispered in his ear. Minwon stealthily watched the white car from afar. Two faint shadows met together and separated once the chauffeur arrived. Minwon's car left the parking lot. A kissing man and woman showed clearly through the back window. Her nightmarish past came back to life above the dark streets. Two pairs of shoes at the front door, the sweet nothing spoken to each other by the two people she trusted the most, screaming, pleading, and a broken pair of glasses. Her tears dripped down and stained the asphalt ground. That's a good chapter. Good chapter. So Ji-hyuk Ji-hyuk Ji-hyuk, when Suman tried to get some sympathy and try to act cute and have him try to be like her knight in shining armor, was hilarious. He was like, bitch, I paid no attention to you. Like, I see you as a man, as they like say. Or I don't see you as a woman. Not a man, but I don't see you as a woman. He's like, yeah, right over there. That's where the band-aids are. Peace. And then she's funny. Tried to take Hugh Yeon's seat. And I think she might not have thought of that at first. But when Hugh Yeon made that little jab about her not being able to find a job, period, if she doesn't become a full-time employee, is what spurred her to go and take her seat. Though I feel like she probably would have tried to get next to Ji-hyuk at some point during the dinner. If it wouldn't have been Hugh Yeon, it would have been whoever was sitting on the other side of him if they got up. But funny. I'm happy that these two are combining their karma early, and our girl is not going to be a part of it. But of course, she's going to feel some kind of way because she really did have feelings for him. But now that she's like, doesn't have those rose-colored glasses on and she sees all the signs she ignored before, they're tears of relief, regret, freedom. But yeah, it's a really good chapter. I'm happy Duran got to go out with them. She wouldn't have been able to if it was just her and her husband at home, because she would have had to go home because we all know he's a piece of shit. But her parents are there and they're going to let their princess do whatever she wants to do. But some of the top comments, now we're getting somewhere. Work your magic, girl. Yes, Ji Hyuk is not falling for her tricks. Not one bit. Miss Jong have any rights to Miss Jong have any rights to sit who she wants to. I totally love you, girl. Hmm? They didn't. I don't think they finished their sentence. So we're going to not finish. We're just going to skip over that and not even try to figure it out. The way Sumin tries to get every guy to treat her like a princess, whereas she's just attention hungry. Damn, jumping from one man to another. I said that last episode when she, like, within the same day, she was already trying to get Minwon to feel sorry for her. Sumin is suited to work at a club, not a company. Damn, somebody said. And Owie, Minwon clearly a pedophile because he slept with a toddler. Interesting that Sumin's change of attitude made her think she died and came back. That was funny. That was a good one. I feel bad for Jiwon, but I know that she prioritized her long-term happiness over short-term heartbreak. To be honest, the tears that drip down to the asphalt are probably tears of joy. I think it's a mix of everything, like I mentioned. Relief, freedom, regret, like a little bit of sadness. Mostly regret because she wasn't able to see all the signs in her first life. But anyways, that's the end of chapter 40. Um that's the 5 chapters for this week. Um and I mentioned I have a Patreon, I think, but I'm still on the fence if I want to do like health stuff or not, because I mean, the journey's not going well, but it's a journey, and it doesn't always go the way you want it to. So maybe that would be good for people to see. I'm still deciding, and I haven't been collecting enough information and like just gathering enough from everything that I think it would be interesting. So we'll see. We'll see. It may be just be like between 2 months of pictures and videos and stuff like that. But if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Bye. Ta-da.